Well, what did you feel that you learned from this, and what might we do differently?
I think the practical aspect was really good, the fact that we were able to get involved and test out the theory ourselves, instead of just being sat there watching a PowerPoint that said, this is how this works and this is how that works. And we got to actually see what it was like.
You can feel the difference between how much effort you have to put into stretching the bungee rather than just looking at numbers and seeing it that way.
They're quite hard concepts to understand because I haven't really done much mechanics before. So to then come in and be able to try out things enabled us to actually see what was going on. And then when we did the theory, it made a lot more sense rather than if you just put the diagrams, like the force diagrams up first. I wouldn't have had any idea what was going on because I hadn't actually felt it going on.
So having that feel
was
really, really important.
And to be able to see the forces that people were putting in.
That sort of notation, you weren't introduced to it during this. Did it make sense without having that explanation, or would it be better to have some explanation beforehand?
When we first had, when they were all equal, that was quite easy to understand, but getting down to when we had like them squared or when we had to let them not equal, it made it a bit more challenging to understand what was actually happening because the notation is a bit more complex.
Okay, so that when you say squared, that's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Because if I'd probably written something like a squared plus b squared equals c squared, what springs to mind first of all? Because and so what you've got. And did you relate it to Pythagoras when you saw it at all?
We didn't quite figure out how we were supposed to show that, but we did get the connection to the other equations.
If kind of Pythagoras' theorem had been brought to your attention early on, might you have approached it in a different way?
We understood that it was Pythagoras, but we had no idea how to apply it to this situation, and I think that's what we struggled with.
Did it matter the order that you were doing it in?
The bungee exercise is a lot easier to get your head around, just with, because it's a lot simpler. There's only a couple of aspects to it, whereas this it's a lot harder to understand. You've got to correctly arrange it to get the correct results, and again with the numbers and stuff like that, you have to really understand it to be able to do it properly. So I definitely think that was, well, I mean, I didn't start with it, but I definitely would have preferred if we had started with that and then moved on to this.
Once I had done the bungee exercise and we'd drawn the diagrams, I understood a lot more what was happening with the angles. The task that I did first, if I'd done that afterwards, I would have understood how the angles played a part in the force that was being felt, which I didn't really understand at first with that one.